What's up, everyone? Welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Video Game Fight School channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. Suicide Squad killed the Justice League. I haven't made any videos about the game because having played the beta, we signed an NDA. And one thing about these NDAs are it's very finicky to not break one, especially when you maybe continue to make statements about what it is you sign an NDA over. So for me, it just made sense that, I just keep my mouth shut. In this time, I've gotten to see a lot. I mean, I've talked about, issues surrounding the game, but I haven't talked about the game's content. I haven't talked about anything. I just literally just said, you know what? I signed this NDA. I don't need to start going into all of those, details and try to toe or walk the line because it's just not worth it. And there's a lot of content to talk about when it comes to the, PlayStation hacked, material that came out there from Insomniac. However, the Suicide Squad game is coming, and I've been watching and seeing a lot of what's happened. The leaks, in quotes, that went down apparently were not accurate. I saw this, and I remember laughing and just saying, I'm just going to wait and see, how all this pans out, because it's very easy to make mistakes. I've also seen a lot of folk in the gaming community, for the most part, change their tune towards this game. In fact, one of the funniest ones was, someone that is on Twitter that is usually basically being highlighted because of how weird their takes can be. This is a YouTuber called Reforge Gaming, and in my opinion, I thought there was the funniest thing that I ever had seen in my entire gaming, and it's in such a short period that this particular content creator sounds like I did when I was telling people to be sensible with their expectations for, Suicide Squad and so on and so forth. But this is one thing about gaming that you have to understand. A lot of people are going to come out with really strong opinions. A lot of people are going to basically talk about the things that they feel are important to them. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take some time to basically listen to some of the things that he says in his, little clip that was put here by Astro Cyborg. Astro Cyborg, you tagged me on some of these particular tweets. So we're going to listen to him. It's about a minute long, so I want you guys to basically listen to some of the things that he says, okay? All right,
I didn't see. I don't even have a reason to fanboy for the game. Like I'm not. I don't know who these characters are other than Harley. I've never. I don't really follow them. I didn't grow up reading their comics, and the movie was awful. So I'm kind of in the game's corner. I want to give it a shot. And just like Gotham.
Now he said the movie is awful. Maybe the first movie. I've never seen the first movie, so I can't judge. But the second movie was actually good. I don't know what he's talking about.
Gotham Knights. Okay, I told people this. I was really harsh against Gotham Knights. Right?
No, you weren't really harsh against Gotham Knights. You basically, I don't know what it is that you wanted to achieve with your, I would say, overly unsubstantiated criticisms of Gotham Knights. A lot of the first time I had an encounter with Reforge Gaming was when he came out and joined people saying that the developers were trying to hide the game at 30 FPS, when PlayStation Access actually unveiled that this was the case. When they gave everybody the chance to review all of these outlets, there was only one outlet that actually made a video where they mentioned it. So a lot of people coming out to say that, I was like, well, it was already information that was out there. How were they trying to hide it? And, he said no, that I wasn't being honest. He quoted my take and was reading on his channel and all. And he and I went back and forth. But, it's one of those things where you guys know me. You go back and forth with me, you better have evidence, of which I told him, I said, nah, there's no way you can convince me that they were trying to hide it when the information was out there and nothing happened. So a lot of his criticisms for Gotham Knights, in my opinion, were just basically joining the bandwagon and the train, not really thinking through a lot of what it is that, he was pretty much saying about the game. And what's even worse, according to people here, he hasn't played the game.
Right. I know you.
And I was open-minded. Yeah.
Yeah, and you were open-minded, and I was really harsh because I saw I looked at Gotham Knights and I said no. I saw all the hallmarks of a bad game, And I know people don't agree with me.
Interesting. Hallmarks of a bad game. That's the strangest thing from somebody who's not played the game. You see this kind of reaction, and I'm not going to play any more of this because I don't think it's necessary. But I think at the end of the day, people need to get some sense and realize that, when you're playing a video game, you really have to, you have to attack, or at least I would say you need to approach the video game for exactly what it is designed or developed to be. Actually, I said I wasn't going to play it. No. There's an important point he makes here, and I think we need to basically point it out. So let's just finish this.
Like, you need to revisit it. And I'm like, I don't think I do. I didn't see any significant pushes and updates. So this game, I just don't see that. I don't see a bunch of red flags and a bunch of warning signs. And I think it comes down to expectations. Like, this is kind of what I was expecting from the game anyway. So I don't have that, like, undercurrent of disappointment and anger.
Right.
Like, this isn't what I wanted.
That's exactly the same thing I said during Gotham Knights. I knew exactly what the game was going to be. In fact, I said the same thing about Suicide Squad like years ago. I said this is exactly what the game is going to be. And I think this is, him actually not doing this for Gotham Knights and saying he wanted, possibly these things and these elements and the game didn't meet them, and then doing this for Suicide Squad, basically understanding that he was unreasonable, even though he's defending his unreasonable takes on Gotham Knights and trying to look all I've come to my senses of Suicide Squad. It's all just playing semantics. That's basically what it is. He wants to be more favorable towards Rocksteady, and nobody could care less about Warner Brothers Montreal because they're a smaller studio. Who really cares or gives a hoot about them? Basically, this was the attitude from a lot of these talking heads around YouTube.
And I think that maybe is why I was so immediately like, what's going on with Gotham Knights here? Like, I thought this was going to be another, Arkham-style game. And
there it is. He thought it was going to be an Arkham-style game. It wasn't an Arkham-style game. It was made by a different studio. And so he basically went after the game. However, he, knowing that Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League wasn't going to be an Arkham-style game, he already understood what the game was. Hence, he's open-minded about the project. I mean, it's insane.
It just didn't feel like it. So, can't believe how well Gotham Knights sold, though. I think that's one of the reasons that this game's probably going to be okay financially, is I think it'll sell well. And then, like what Mike was saying, like, what's the ongoing content plan? Like, if it's just battle passes and cosmetics, I think the game...
I mean, I think that's enough, man, So it really brings, a lot of things to perspective. And I remember saying this stuff about Gotham Knights. I was like, man... Gamers need to just sometimes, kind of calm down, kind of see where things are going, in my opinion, and actually be able to look at a game for exactly what the game is and what the game is trying to be, and not exactly what people want the game to be. This has been an ongoing challenge in the gaming scene lately. You make a video about these games that, fans expected to be one thing that wasn't, and everybody goes, berserk. Like, I make a video about Starfield sales, and I see my comment section rife for people saying, you're defending this game. Shame on you for defending this game. I'm like, who the heck are these people? Like, I don't even, vibe with most. I don't know who y'all are. I mean, thanks for, maybe watching the video or whatnot. But if you think I'm maybe some Bethesda fan, you have lost your way on the internet. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you fell in a ditch, So when I'm talking about these things, like, you should look at the comments that are on this Starfield video that I made about the game making it into the platinum, for Steam. You'll realize, and what I realized is, a lot of Bethesda fans wanted this game to have a lot of the signatures of the other games they liked from Bethesda. So them not necessarily coming, to terms, and this is my read of it, I may be wrong, but it's what I'm seeing, them not coming to terms with this game not being Fallout or having just glimpses of Fallout or whatnot, and them being disappointed overall is quite, interesting for me to observe as somebody who's from outside. Like, somebody told me, you haven't played any, Bethesda games, so your opinion is of little value since you don't know any other Bethesda games. I said, in my mind, I was going to say shut up, but I kind of held myself back and said, what does that have to do with anything? Like, I'm playing Starfield. I'm talking about Starfield. I'm experiencing Starfield. What do other Bethesda games actually have to do, with what you have? Because one studio can actually make two different games under different circumstances. And even though they may carry, maybe similar DNA, you can come out with different experiences from them. But all this to say, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is changing minds. And it's surprising to me how it's changing minds, but I don't think it's necessarily that. I think people are probably, people have gone full circle to realize that, games are not going to be made in your image. They're going to be made based on what the publisher wants. They're going to be made on, based on what the developer is capable of. They're going to be made based on the goals that are trying to be achieved, independent of what it is that you say on the internet in front of a microphone or in the comment section of some video. If you don't want the games like these to be made, I've said this many, many times, keep your money in your wallet. It is the highest form of, protest that you can actually give. Ragging on some, YouTuber or maybe doing this or whatever, that's not going to make Bethesda they're going to make another Starfield game. You best expect it. It was successful. And all you've given them is your money, and you've given them your input. So they're going to take that input and then basically come back and try to sell it to you again after you've basically paid them to give them the input for the most part. Like the 800-hour person that played the game for 800 hours and then eventually on Steam said they didn't recommend the game. This is just some of the funny stuff that we see, with video game criticisms at the end of the day. But I also want to go ahead and say, criticism is actually fine. There's a place for it, but at the end of the day, I think if every video game is really looked at from that perspective, even the most, insane, take givers on the internet, I just think a lot of their takes are insane. Sometimes they can come to their senses because they're actually intelligent people. I don't believe that these people don't know what they're doing. In fact, I think for the most part, when they're doing some things, they're knowingly doing them because they see some kind of benefit out there. And so this is the reality. But I just want to go ahead and make this video and talk about this. I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching the video, and hopefully we'll talk pretty soon in another one. Peace out.